Speedrunning World 1-1 in the original Super Mario Bros. Can be a real challenge. But did you know that there's a newly discovered trick that could put you miles ahead of the competition? To unlock this super gaming secret, start the game and snag the first super mushroom as fast as you can. Jump onto the first set of blocks and inch your way to the very edge, just before you tumble off. Now, sprint in the opposite direction and leap as high as you can from the edge of those blocks. Out of nowhere, you'll strike a hidden block that reveals the legendary Lightning Boots power-up. Immediately grab this rare item and watch as your boots start to flash. You'll instantly gain blazing speed, allowing you to tear through enemies and obstacles like never before. Now, let's speedrun the rest of World 1-1. Everyone's excited about playing as Princess Zelda in The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, but did you know that you can play as Princess Zelda in the original Legend of Zelda for NES? In fact, footage of this gameplay mode was shown to a test group of parents back in 1986, leading to the widely spread urban legend that Zelda was the player character's name. To unlock this super gaming secret, you'll have to finish the first quest with 100% hearts, items, bombs, and rupees. When you rescue Princess Zelda, make sure to equip the magic rod before entering her chamber. Right when you start the second quest, you'll be playing as Princess Zelda on a mission to save Link. But instead of slashing away at enemies with a sword, you'll wield the Wand of Virtue, which turns nefarious enemies into benevolent fairies. The gameplay is very similar to Link's first quest, but when you finally defeat Ganon and rescue Link, you'll find he's made himself comfortable eating flaming hot Cheetos and playing PS5. After you tell him of all the trials and tribulations you faced to save him, he'll respond, "What was that? Sorry, you saying something?" Realizing that you don't need him, you decide that you're better off alone, leave him in the dungeon, and live happily ever after. Hello! Hey everybody, how are you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Today, we are going to be... Hi, bro. Sammy Nation! Ramirez Productions. Hey, guys. You guys are the first to chat. He can heat. I think he means to mean he can hear. Oh, message check. Hello. Hello. Awesome. So today we're going to be taking a look at the first two issues of Nintendo Fun Club News, which was a newsletter that was released back in the 80s. It was the earliest Nintendo publication that I believe they put out. And we're taking a look at the first two to kind of check out some super gaming secrets that Nintendo shared with everybody back in the day and take a trip back in time. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And joining me today is my beautiful, lovely wife, Jessica Kinni. Hold on one second. And there we are. Say hello, Jessica. I can't hear you.
Hi.
Oh, there you are. Can everybody hear Jessica okay?
I have a commercial on mine, so I have no idea if I'm doing this right.
Oh, okay. Oh, lovebirds, yes. We are lovebirds. We have been together since 2015. So it's, and we have two wonderful children. So, yeah, I would say so. Wouldn't you say, my love?
Absolutely.
All right. So today, as I said, Jess, we are going to be looking at the first two issues of Nintendo Fun Club News. I'm going to pull that up now, and let's get started. So first, before we get started, actually, let me pull up something that's important. So I originally was going to buy these issues, but then I looked on eBay and I saw something very interesting, and that is that they're currently going for $10,000 for one issue. Of course, this is an 8.5 mint condition. I'm sure I can get it for cheaper, but $10,000 is a little bit out of my price range for this live stream. But anybody want to buy it for me? And then maybe we can actually feature it in real life. What do you think? So, yeah, let's look at another listing on eBay. How about this one? Oh, $27,999.99. I love how they added the 99 cents in there, like it makes any difference whatsoever. And this
Duke
is
MP
for
was like, is this a real thing made by Nintendo? Oh yes. Oh yes, it was.
absolutely. And this is a
This
9.
is
If you look up at the corner, this is a 9.0 conditional or a conditioned magazine. I have to use my correct English. A 9.0 mint condition version of this particular one. Marianella, hi, how are you? Yeah, I know, collapsing on the floor, seeing this price. This is like somebody's college education. You know, I could say, hey, sorry, I couldn't pay for college, but I wanted to buy this.
how much do you think
This
it would go? Like, I want one that's been run down and maybe has like a Mountain Dew stain on it. How
You
much do
could
you think
probably get
that
one
one
for
would
$30, I imagine, like a really, really cheap one for $30. But I don't know. I mean, maybe if you guys do a little research and find out, maybe you can find out on eBay if there's a better price that we can find. Here's another one. $30,000, guys. And this is for the second issue that we're going to be talking about today. So I got a little discouraged after looking at, this is a good one. Do you see this one, my dear? $100,000 for this
Yeah,
Mike
but
Tyson's Punch-Out version of.
is this the special, the Super Gaming Secrets issue of Punch Out, or
Possibly. I don't know. Maybe some secrets in there that nobody's ever discovered. So that somebody added in. But yeah, this is a 9.4 quality or condition magazine, and it's not cheap. So the bottom line is, guys, we're going to be looking at the digital versions, and that's also good because you'll be able to see all the text and all the pictures pristine, big, clear. And so let's just do it that way and avoid me going bankrupt, or us going bankrupt, me and my wife. So let's dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. So this is the very first issue, is winter 1987. I guess they were selling it for $250, but I don't remember paying for a subscription. And the very first issue has a little special message from the president of Nintendo of America. Oh, I can hear something in the background, my love. Can you mute your audio?
oh, so sorry, that's one
That's
of
okay.
our children.
Okay. Can you mute the stream audio? I can hear. I think I can hear in the background.
Okay, sorry. Good. Yes, as a video gamesman myself, I don't want to interrupt anything with our.
All right. So, welcome to the club. A message from Howard Phillips, professional video gamesman and president of Nintendo Fun Club. It was created especially for people like you and me. Playing video games is how we have fun, and that's what this club is all about. I can still hear myself. What's going on?
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
All right. Do you have the stream on live too? Okay. So it says, take the Nintendo Fun Club news, for instance. You'll get several times a year. In each issue, you'll find articles on how you can have the most fun and get the highest scores playing the hottest Nintendo games, sneak peeks, and a special section which allows you to write in your best scores. Man, I miss these days. You know, the internet has kind of changed this whole entire stratosphere. You know, I mean, it's basically taken the spotlight off of a lot of video gamers back in the day, because, you know, at this time in the 80s, gaming was still like a novelty. You know, every kid had access to some Nintendo system, but it wasn't like a cool thing. It wasn't like an acceptable thing. I remember being a kid. I was born back in the late 70s, 79, and I was 8 years old when this issue came out. And I remember it feeling very special and different. And I was like, one of the kids that was, into this thing, as opposed to like nowadays, like video games are so widespread. Everybody plays them, or everybody's played some form of video games. Even if you don't do it regularly, everybody knows about it. Did you play games when you were younger, my love?
You know, I did. I hand drew my whole map for Zelda. So
can you talk about that for a second?
But I was pretty committed. I mean, who didn't? At the time when Zelda came out, it was like you got that map and you got the grid, and there's all these empty squares that you were like, what is in that area? I need to know because they don't let you know. And I literally took out big pieces of white construction paper with my cousin, and we
Mm-hmm.
would stay up at night and just work our way through that whole thing. I
Mm-hmm.
saved that forever too. I wish I still had it.
Sammy Nation says, my first game was Super Mario 3D Land on the Nintendo DS. Or
Nice.
3DS. Yeah. Wow, man. I remember Super Mario 3D Land. I never played that one. I did play 3D World on the Wii U because I was one of the rare people that had a Wii U back in the day. And Jess, you were saying Zelda. You actually had to draw the maps because you didn't have access to the internet. You didn't have access to
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that map that came with the game. It was a little fold-out map, and it had blank squares in it, and then they wanted you to draw in those squares. And do
Mm-hmm.
you remember did your friends or your family talk about Easter eggs and certain discoveries and things like that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, my
Yeah.
cousin would come over and she was older, so she would always like come in with some tidbit, but it was usually something we could never figure out.
Did she tell you about the way to swim in Zelda?
No, I didn't find that out till much later, watching a Super Gaming Secret.
Okay, yeah. That is a major discovery. I don't think a lot of people know how to do that trick. So
I have not been able to replicate it, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, actually, the video behind me is talking about Zelda right now. But basically, I don't know if you guys have seen the Super Gaming Secret that we put out. Jess is actually featured in this video too. She plays the voice, or she performs the voice of Princess Zelda in one of the segments. But you could actually swim in the original Zelda, and there's something called the mystical flippers. And so just watch the video on my channel, and maybe you'll gain a little insight on how to access that
Hey,
that secret.
Duke, how did you figure that out?
You
Who
know,
told you about that?
I talked about it a little bit last time, but I've been collecting these Super Gaming Secrets over a long period of time, since I was a kid, and I just have a giant tomb of secrets that have yet to be discussed in my series. And
Mhm.
so, eventually, hopefully in my lifetime, I'll get to all of them, but it's thick. It's like this big, and it keeps growing because I keep discovering new things, So let's go to the chat really quick. Do you see the chat, my love?
I was just able to get it up. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I'm just laughing at all of us talking about our first games. Oh man, I had an old Game Boy too, actually, Ramirez Productions.
mhm.
Doug has my old Game Boy in his
I do.
office right now because I wouldn't give it up. And I said, you can have it in your office, but I can't get rid of it.
And you have only one game for that system.
Well, I had a few, but I only have one that remains.
Right, one that's left. And can you tell them what it is?
Did anybody else play Pokemon Pinball? It was the best. If you didn't play a Pokemon game, you have not lived.
I still haven't played it. I think I saw you play it briefly, but
It's so much fun.
yeah, Nintendo makes great hardware. I mean, it still works after
Totally
all these
still
years.
works.
I still have an NES that still works.
Commodore. Now we're going.
Eh,
Dude, you played on a Commodore. You played on your
I
dad's.
did. I played my dad's Commodore 64, and we played games like The Last Ninja and California Games, and oh God, Dragon's Lair, and just a whole bunch of other cool games for the Commodore 64. Oh, Realm of Impossibility was one of my favorites on the Commodore 64. Just tons of. Commodore is a great gaming system. I mean, it's supposed to be a personal computer, but I
Yeah.
think most people had it for games. The
Real
loading
quick
times,
though,
yes.
I just want to go back before I lose it because MP8, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but they were asking about releasing issues seasonally, going back to Nintendo Fun Club news. And yes, it was winter. Was the first one was this winter 87, and then the next one is summer 87. So they came out, I guess, every 3 months. It's the quarterly. So
Yeah, it's quarterly. Yeah, until these were so this is the Nintendo Fun Club news preceded Nintendo Power because I think Nintendo realized, we could do so much more, and so let's hire on a team and create a whole magazine, and we could people would pay for it. And so that's what they did with Nintendo Power. So hopefully with these live streams, we're going to go through all the issues, and then we'll start covering Nintendo Power and seeing what kind of cool stuff is in the early issues of Nintendo Power as well. But for now, so do you want to get back to the newsletter?
Yeah, because I'm just honestly, I just love that when the president introduces this, it's, professional video gamesman.
Yes.
And president.
Yes, which was
the Nintendo.
I think he's a little tongue in cheek though, because at this time, video games were such a novelty. It wasn't. I don't think a lot of people took them seriously or understood how this game, the Super Mario Brothers game, would change the entire world of video gaming and electronic gaming. So let's talk a little bit about this story. It says Super Mario Brothers enter amazing worlds to rescue the princess, and it just gives a little plot summary of what the game is all about. And the game has a very simple plot, so it's really not too complex. The Mushroom King's daughter, Princess Toadstool, which is funny because I don't think we've ever seen the Mushroom King. Have we ever seen the Mushroom King?
I'm going to go to the chat on that because I can't think of any times.
No.
I'm trying to think if there's any cutscenes or there's nothing.
No. And the thing is, the Mushroom King isn't featured in the new Super Mario Brothers movie that just came out a couple years ago. There's no such mention, because I remember they retconned that story because she comes from someplace else, and we don't know her past, but she's dropped off in the Mushroom Kingdom, and then they make her the princess, right? She doesn't come from royalty. So
in true spirit of taking canon and then saying just kidding and making new.
Sammy Nation says the Mushroom King appears in Nintendo Comics system. I've never even heard of them. I've heard of the Nintendo Serial System, but I've never heard of the Nintendo Comics system. Maybe Sammy Nation can share that or share how to access that, because I'd love to see that.
Yes, please do tell.
So, you are good. You are good people. I like the way you think. T. Thank you, T. Here's a sip of tea to you, sir. It's just water. It's not tea.
Hold on. Here we go. More accurately.
Oh, yes. Is that tea or is that coffee?
Shh. It's coffee.
Mario has special powers. Yes, this game is filled with sinister obstacles, but it also has ways for clever players to avoid them. Special powers turn Mario into Super Mario, Fiery Mario, or Invincible Mario. Ooh. Tunnel worlds take you out of evil's way for a while, and then you don't want to pass up the chance to climb the magic beanstalk into the clouds, which is funny because I got corrected in that Super Gaming Secret. People said, it's not called the beanstalk, it's called a vine. And no, it is called a beanstalk. Look right there. Beanstalk for the win.
Oh,
so,
and can we just laugh
it's Luigi's beanstalk, yes.
Right above that where it says Super Mario is poised to pounce on a deadly Koopa. The Koopas with their glasses on, they can't see where they're going, but they
Is that glasses or is that? I think that's eyebrows.
Are they? Oh,
yes.
I guess you're right.
It's an interesting interpretation, though.
In this photo.
All right, guys, chat. Eyebrows or glasses? You guys tell me. Oh, somebody got hit with an ad midstream.
Oh,
yes.
Weird. We got to figure. We're new at this.
Yes. That's a Goomba, not a Koopa. Jess, did you say Koopa?
The newspaper says Koopa. It says poised to pounce on a deadly Koopa.
It's not a Koopa.
Right, it is.
It's a Goomba. Wow. Whoever's writing this has got to get it together, guys.
That's so funny.
And this is,
I didn't even notice that. All I was looking at was, I'm like, it looks like he has glasses on today.
I hate to say it. I don't think that whoever's writing this is taking it very seriously. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. And I'm
offended.
Koopa, Goomba, whatever. They don't have their heart in it. It's a caution. Anyone who wants to play this game should have a practiced hand, or at least the new book, How to Win at Super Mario Brothers. This book is, This book is not available in bookstores. To get your copy, look for the coupon included in this mailing. I actually have a digital copy of that one too, but it's more of like a strategy guide, so I don't know how interesting it would be to look at that guide. Maybe we can just browse through it sometime. All right, let's go to the next page. All right, design your own treacherous race courses with Excite Bike. Oh man, did you ever play Excite Bike, Jess?
Sorry, I'm muting because we have a little 10-month-old helper over here. Um, Not really. I like a couple of times, but I didn't have it at my house. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have played this in the bowling alley.
Mm-hmm. Ramirez Production says, what are your favorite NES games to play? Well, I'd have to say Super Mario Brothers 3 is a masterpiece, just because it's such a vast game. And of course, the original Legend of Zelda is great. But I have to say that Zelda 2, not one of my favorites. You can fight me on that if you want.
I was
But
wondering where you're going to go with that.
yeah, I'll be kind because I have particular feelings about that game. Zelda 2, I was so excited for it to come out. I talked my mom into driving from the San Fernando Valley all the way to Simi Valley to buy a copy. I brought it home, put it in, played it, almost cried. Very disappointed. Did not like it. Was not like the first game. Hated it. And to this day, I still have a kind of a grudge about it. So, oh, my wife disappeared, but she'll be back. So, I think our son is crying a little bit. So she went to go take care of him. So yes, Excitebike does have a level design mode, and it's awesome. You can design your own levels. You can put all types of cool stuff in wherever you want, up to a limitation. I think there's a memory limitation, so your tracks can't go on forever. But before we go into the Excitebike, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This is crazy over here. First of all, what is this? This is terrifying. This is like those Easter Bunny photos that are in the memes on the internet, where oh my God. See, this is like Nintendo was just figuring it out, or whoever was behind this costume design was just figuring it out. It is brutally bad. And it's nothing like the Mario today. It kind of looks, yes, old Mickey Mouse mascot costume feels, absolutely. It is freaky, man. It is freaky. So this is the coolest part. Does anybody recognize this guy? Well, this girl right here, they're brother and sister. And this is Justine Bateman. Justine Bateman from Family Ties. And then her brother, oh God, what's his name? Jason Bateman is right next to her, and they're playing Nintendo. And everybody knows Jason Bateman, Arrested Development. Like, he was in every possible movie, every possible comedy movie back in like a couple years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Everybody loved Jason Bateman. He's also in Ozarks and a bunch of other things, but it's insane. And then here's Will Wheaton down here. Let's see. Bottom. Will Wheaton, star of the movie Stand By Me, which had come out right around that time, racked up an amazing... And he's also from Star Trek The Next Generation. I've had a chance to meet Will Wheaton because I worked on a project with him not too long ago called Grubs, which is currently being pitched right now. And he plays Grub's best friend. And I did the score for the... I did the theme song for the show, and also my cousin and I did the score of the pilot together. But we talked at a Comic-Con together, and it was pretty awesome. So there's Will Wheaton, super nice guy. But he... Oh, Jess, you're back. Can you hear me?
I am back.
So do you see this Mario costume? Sorry, you're muted.
This is like the Chuck E. Cheese of Mario costumes.
Yes. Ramirez Production was saying that it's like the old Mickey Mouse mascot costume feels like the creepy ones. Let's see. What is the name of the movie where you won the Power Glove? That was, I think it was The Wizard, where it says, the Power Glove, it's so bad. There was a movie with Fred, oh gosh, I forget his name. Fred Savage from the Wonder Years. And it was called The Wizard, and it was about a group of kids going across country to compete in a Nintendo tournament, and because their younger brother was like the wizard at video games, and that's why it's called the Wizard. And on their way through the country, they run across a kid who has a power glove, and he's like playing with it. He's like, the power glove, it's so bad. It's awesome. Awesome movie. A lot of fun.
Did he mean bad, like it doesn't work that well?
He should have, because it doesn't. I think I tried a power glove once, and it was not good. But he probably meant it in It's Bad ASS. I'm not going to say it because I want to get banned, but off of YouTube, canceled. But yes, he meant really, really awesome, and that was his way of saying it. But in the movie, they make it look pretty awesome, and also that movie has the distinction of being the first public showcase of Super Mario Brothers 3. Before they had any trailers or anything, it was like a little preview of the game, and it was so exciting to see that. Let's see. I have DS ROMs. What was that?
Space was like, please read my comment that I played Super Mario Bros. On an emulator. We got to get an NES going over there. You got to get a system for you, because I don't know. There's something about playing on an emulator. I mean, you have to for some of the games, but
yeah, I mean, now you can't even. You have to get a converter to attach the old systems to your TV now, because a lot of them don't even have the ports. So, but emulation's gotten pretty good. And especially with the official Nintendo systems that have like the classic systems. And by the way, my wife gets super cred for this, but she's bought me every single classic system. I have a Nintendo Classic and a Super Nintendo Classic system, which were given to me as gifts from my wife. So thank you.
I also bought you 2 PSs and a
Switch,
she
bought me
right?
the PS5. She bought me the PS4
and the 4.
And she bought one. She bought one for Link as well in the latest Super Gaming Secrets, and some flaming hot Cheetos. So I have a NES Classic that I got right for Christmas. Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's lots of fun. It's fun to revisit those old games. So let's talk more about this this right here. This is awesome. I mean, I don't know if they really do these things anymore. I know they have competitions and whatnot, but back then this is something that's super special, and it was one of those rare things where, if you knew about it or you talked about it, it was like a special novelty thing. And now it's kind of commonplace. All right, sneak peeks. Whoops. Sneak peeks. All right. Confidential to Fun Club members. The following video games will be available on home game versions soon. Look for them in stores in early 1987. Pro Wrestling and Slalom, which is a skiing game. This is a wrestling game. And look at this. Don't forget to look in next issue's sneak peeks for the previews of these soon-to-be-released home games. Volleyball, Punch-Out, and The Legend of Zelda. Insane. They had no idea what they had on their hands. Seriously. And you know what? I've never really played Hogan's Alley because I think I had Duck Hunt, the Blaster and Duck Hunt, and that was about it. But I did play the hell out of Excite Bike. It was really, really fun. Have you ever played Excite Bike, sweetie?
That's what you're asking me. I don't think I did. I mean, I played a lot of like Rad Racer, RC Pro-Am type stuff, but
oh yeah, Rad Racer for sure.
I don't really remember playing Excite Bike much as like at that point as a kid. I mean, it was before I was born. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Back to the state-of-the-art video gun. It's blasts bad guy targets at Hogan's Alley. I like all I can think of is it blasts my TV because I had to sit like right in front of the TV and like tap the tube of the TV to make do you know what I mean? Like
it didn't work unless you were up close.
I think it did. I just didn't have good aim. And I wanted to be like right there for Duck Hunt, so
yeah.
How times have changed.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
amateur gaming.
I don't even think they have something. I don't think they're like the Blaster games even exist anymore. I don't even know if you can buy anything like that anymore. Everything is controller based now. But Nintendo was trying to do something new, and it was awesome for a little while.
Well, PQSQ or SK, PQSK. I'm sure there's a cool way to say that. Pixk. I'll get it one day. But it said Hogan's Alley was awesome, so I feel like maybe we missed out on something here.
I know that it was featured. Revisit. Yeah, I think it was featured in Back to the Future Part 2, when Elijah Wood is playing it in the cafe, and then he can't play it, and then Michael J. Fox comes up and he goes and he shoots all the targets.
Is that what he's playing?
I think it's Hogan's Alley. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think it's Hogan's Alley. And then Elijah Wood says, "This game is lame. You have to use your hands." Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, we just watched that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on to the next page.
Killzone. All
High
HD
score
ports now. Mm-hmm.
High score competition lets you match skills with other fun club members, and they had an address here to send in your high scores, and you'd have to take a picture of your TV. And I remember this being a problem because kids had the flash on all the time, especially in like a dark room. And so they'd use the flash on the TV and the TV's reflective surface, so they could never see. So they always say, "Don't use your flash." And kids, I don't think would listen. I do remember seeing a lot of Howard Phillips when I was a kid. Oh man, I keep on doing that. Howard Phillips, and he was such a cool guy because he was the president of Nintendo of America, and he was an adult who played video games. And I was like, an adult that plays video games and understands video games and knows all about video games. And if you watch interviews with him at the time, he knew everything. He knew his stuff. And so it was very impressive to have a guy, like a professional, that with a suit and a tie, I think he had like a bow tie, he adopted kind of a costume of sorts. And
eventually, maybe, because here's a picture of him down here, and it's his traditional tie.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he started wearing the bow tie as kind of like his calling card. And he was awesome. You know, he had a great, I think he helped Nintendo break into the American market and make the games kind of more appealing for Americans. And that was his role. And so he became kind of the ambassador for the company, for Nintendo of America. But cheers to Howard Phillips. He was awesome. He's still alive. But let's see, practice for more than 10,000 hours. If you added it all up, I'd say I practiced for at least 10,000 hours. Howard said probably I had to get a job to make up for all the quarters I was losing. Wow. So yeah, he played a lot of video games. Cool guy.
Killzone, Killzone verified it was actually not what we thought. It was Wild Gunman.
Wild Gunman. Thank you very much, Killzone, for clarifying, because
keeping us
honest. Yes, just like Super Gaming Secrets, keeping us honest. We got to be as honest as possible. Yes, thank you, Killzone, for correcting, because that's what you guys you're here to make sure that we're legit here. Mailbag. So this is cool. So people get to write into Nintendo and talk about the games that they liked or the games that they've beat, or, and Nintendo would respond. I recently purchased your Nintendo Entertainment System. I think it's terrific. I've enjoyed playing the video games, both home, Super Mario Brothers, Wrecking Crew, Ice Climber. Needless to say, I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Impressed with graphics. 6 new games in 86. Just a lot of people talking about how hooked they are on the system. Dear Keith, here your answer is yes, Nintendo is designed for compatible with other components. Just talks a little bit about the original system. Up to 43 fantastic games for your NES. Now, I think in the end, Nintendo Entertainment System had something like 300 games or something. It could be way more than that, and I'm just tripping. I think it's more like 1,500 or something like that are unofficial and whatnot. But I don't know. Maybe you guys can find out how many official games there were for Nintendo. And I'm not talking about the Tengen. There was a company.
Wait, for the NES only?
For the NES only, yeah. Because it says 43 at this time, when this was published. But there was, there's been a lot more since then. Hold on, let me pause this in the back. Up until they stopped publishing games for the NES back in like 92 or 93, I think it was. But I think officially there's 300 games. I could be wrong, or 600 or something like that. I could be way off. Anyway, I'd love for you guys to correct me on that one. But Tengen made Pac-Man clones too. Yes, Tengen was a company that they got around the official licensing, because it used to be very expensive to publish games for the NES because you'd have to pay for the cartridge license. You'd have to buy the cartridges from Nintendo, program them yourself, and then you'd have to give them a cut of whatever to get their official seal. To get, you have to give them a cut of whatever they made for the sale of the game. And so Tengen was one of those companies that figured out a way to break the Nintendo and published its own games without going through Nintendo at all. And they got in a lot of trouble. They got sued. And if you look, there's these rare Tengen cartridges that look black and are they look like stealth bombers. Like they're completely different shaped than the gray Nintendo carts. And they made just a handful. I think it was Gauntlet, Tetris, which was a big legal battle. A whole bunch of other games, six or so. And
did anybody watch that Tetris movie?
I haven't seen it
yet. Do you remember when that came out when we were going to watch it and we haven't? I'm just wondering because that was a big deal.
Ramirez Productions says, I don't know if it's true, but I heard that there was a PC or Mac version of Super Mario Brothers published back in the 90s called Super Mario Bros. Special. I'm not sure if that's true either. I know that there was like a different ports for Super Mario Brothers, and I think there were a couple official ports where Nintendo put them on other systems until they realized probably shouldn't be doing this. We probably should just keep everything on our system. Because they did like Donkey Kong for Atari, Donkey Kong Junior. I played that on the Intellivision before the Nintendo came out. Yes, I'm that old. Intellivision was by Mattel, I think, made that system, and I played that when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And it was Donkey Kong Jr., and it was all blocky, pixelated graphics. It did not look good at all. Nintendo's suing now that nothing. No, let's see. It's besides Super Mario Brothers Special. Yeah, that's nothing new. Besides Super Mario Brothers Special, there was Punch Bowl Mario Brothers and Mario Brothers Special. Yeah, I haven't even heard about any of these games. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about them.
And if you have any super gaming secrets regarding them,
yeah, write it in.
Those would be good to know.
You guys don't just have to leave comments on the videos. You guys can go to the Doogtoons website. There's a contact form on the bottom of the page. And if you guys have any super secret tips that you want me to cover or talk about, send me a message. I would love to hear your. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of writing in, sorry to interrupt you, Duke. I wonder what would happen if we wrote what do you think ever happened to this PO box for the Nintendo Fun Club News?
It probably gets directed somewhere because I believe that the headquarters is still located in Seattle, or Redmond, but I think it's in Seattle. And so, I think it just probably just gets forwarded to the headquarters, and they probably write you back. I never wrote Nintendo, unfortunately, when I was a kid. I probably should have. Pros Corner. Look at this. Playing tips from the experts on this issue's featured game, Super Mario Brothers. Your red B button can help do more. Hold it down when you're jumping and see how far. Okay, speaking of flagpole, when you come to World 1, 2. Is there a way you can enter worlds? Okay, so it's talking about the warp zones. It's talking about the fireworks. It's talking about. It doesn't talk about the special trick though, where you can hold. Run? Well, it doesn't talk about that for sure, but there is a super secret which is for real, which is that you hold down the A button if you die, and you get to start off in the world where you last died. So, it's a continue button that nobody really knows about. A lot of people, when I put out that super gaming secret about start screens, had no idea about the initial super gaming secret, which was that, you can continue the same world. Now, if you're on world, 3, it will just take you to world 3, 1. But you can't continue from world 3, 3, Mm-hmm. And that's just by holding the A button down while you're pressing the start button when you restart the game. So, these are very basic tips. This is not like advanced by any means. But back then, I think it was such a new concept. These games were such a new concept that maybe it was considered an advanced tip. Another piece of information, there was an all-night Nippon version of Super... I don't even know what that means. Wow. Okay. Ramirez Productions says, I looked it up and it says the game is real and it was published for the NEC and Sharp X1. I'm not surprised. I've never heard of it, but I'm not surprised because I know at that time they were porting a lot of stuff. And there's videos online about other systems and things. I think there's like an unofficial Commodore 64 port that somebody did recently of the original Super Mario Brothers, and they were able to do a really good job. And that's such a cool concept to me, is using today's technology to figure out the most efficient code where you can take a modern or more modern game and put it on an older system. Because back then, when they were designing stuff for the hardware, they didn't know the hardware as well as we do today. You know, they only knew what they knew at that time. So now people have studied the hardware so many years, they know all the tricks on how to get like I remember hearing that once they optimized the code, they could put like Doom on like an Amiga, which was unheard of at the time, you know, but they figured a way to do it because they had known that hardware for so many years, and they optimized the code to be able to do it. So cool. Excite Bike. Talking about Excite Bike again. Racers go fast. It's just more tips and stuff. Let's go to the next page. Amusement Players Association reveals its top score to Fun Club members. The Amusement Players Association is 2,000 members strong. I've never even heard of the Amusement Players Association. This is actually an official association, I guess it was at the time. Special arrangement with Nintendo. Offer Fun Club news to receive top score. In addition, top score will be print the names and scores of Fun Club members whose scores are high enough to qualify for its international scoreboard selection or section. The news will also print top scores star players. That's pretty cool. Oh, here's that book they were talking about.
Heard of that? The Amusement Players Association?
No,
I wonder
don't even know.
if this still exists.
Probably not. But I think we have the end of our first newsletter, and that's it. We'll go on to the next one. But this is that book they were talking about earlier, How to Win at Super Mario Brothers. And, you know, that's the thing about Super Mario Brothers. Yes, there's hidden blocks and secrets and things, but I don't think that a strategy guide for Super Mario Brothers is really like, at least this game, is really that beneficial, because the game really, you can figure it out pretty quick, and you just get better the more you play it. So you're not going to read the guide and then be able to beat the game like that.
It's muscle memory is what's going to help you.
Right. Yeah, it's muscle memory and redoing it over and over and over again and getting better and better every day until you can finally speed run it, or use Super Gaming Secrets to speed run it in special ways. So let's see.
Very special way.
Uh-huh.
Ramirez
Productions says, I looked it up all night Nippon Super Mario Brothers, and it was a Japanese remake of the game, but with Japanese celebrities as the enemies and power-ups.
What?
Spirited. That's pretty cool. I think you know what? I think I saw an article about that, where they just basically redressed all the sprites in the games, or in the original Super Mario Brothers, and made it like special. It's like if you weren't from Japan, you didn't really understand, and you weren't familiar with the culture. You didn't understand like all the references that it was making, you know, like the special movie stars and things like that. So I think I've heard about that. All right. I think we are done. Oh, by the way, guys, tell me if you can hear this. Okay, cool. I think my soundboard is working. So I have a Stream Deck now, and I can put my special. Let's tell a joke. Why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7 ate 9. Oh, wait. That was the laugh. I meant to go like this. There you go. All right. If you guys have any... Oh, not funny. Somebody's laughing. So if you guys have a good joke...
That is not amused, babe.
Yes,
not
I know. Let's tell another joke. Oh, this is a good one. I actually wrote this joke, and I auditioned it for a group of friends recently, and I think they liked it. So, you guys tell me what you think about this one. Did you hear that Kanye West opened up a breakfast place in Taylor Swift's honor? Did you guys know that? It's called I'm Let You Finish. No? Anybody?
Cue the trombone.
You know, Yeah, I think I need to. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Moving on to Nintendo Fun Club
Okay.
news.
I just had to try out my new soundboard. Okay. All right.
GDT is cracking me up. Warmer.
All right. Here's the next issue. All right. Now, this is the second issue, and I think by this time they learned a lot from their previous issue, and they started kind of like diving in deeper. I think we've got 10 pages here. And whoever was writing these articles, I think, was starting to take the games a little bit more seriously and not name Goombas Koopas. But this one covers the original Legend of Zelda. It says The Legend of Zelda, a new video game for adventurous players only. The game is not for the faint-hearted video player. It will make your nerves jump and your blood race and your eyes pop with all the excitement. The legend begins in the fantasy land of Hyrule, once a peaceful country of lakes, mountains, and forests. But Hyrule is tranquil no more. The evil Ganon, and they spelled the name correctly, because I've seen a lot of publications that early on did not. They put an extra N in there. Has captured the gentle Princess Zelda, cruelly imprisoned her, and stolen the coveted Triforce of Power. So it talks a lot about the plot of the game. There's actually more of a story in this game than there is in the original Super Mario Brothers. And so I think they kind of did a much better job of kind of fleshing out the game here. And they talk a little bit about the start right where you left off, like a feature of the game, which was the battery pack, which was kind of mind-blowing at the time. I remember playing the game and saying, wait a second, it saved my information? Do you remember that, Jess? It was so weird that the game remembered the name that I entered for the character and my progress in the quest. And this is the other thing. I remember there was a little flaw in the game, and if you were to abruptly cut the power to your system, there's a chance that it could erase your battery backup because it would short out the battery, and then all of your progress would be deleted. And so
that would have sent me into a spiral. I'm
it
not
did.
kidding. I worked so hard on that game. I would have lost it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of kids like threw things at their TV because they had to restart the game. And they released I think some kind of notice later, or they figured it out, but they said in order to make sure that doesn't happen, you have to hold the reset button on the Nintendo and press the power off. And that's the only way to guarantee that your data will not be deleted. So it took some time, I think, for kids to figure that out. And every single time, I was one of those kids who's just like, you gotta make sure. And like, I never wanted to leave my game on and leave the room because I was always afraid like my mom or brother would come in and just like, oh, I want to play a game, just like kick the system and all my progress would be gone. So
perks of being an only child. Nobody touched my games.
Hey, well, you had cousins though. So
yeah, but they weren't going to touch my games.
Yeah. Well.
At the end of this article, I love that it like totally shouts out like it's an RPG, and I'm like it's so vintage. It's like, okay, it's solid gold.
Yes.
It's the depth and advanced role playing of a PC game. I'm like, they know where they came from. It's like Nintendo is giving a shout out to like the predecessors. It's the 50th anniversary of D&D, so I can't help but think like about those sort of things right now. It's so crazy that
today is the 50th anniversary.
No, this year is.
This year, okay. Mm-hmm. Wow, I had no idea. Yeah, I remember the game being solid gold was such a. It was like a treasure. Like I'd open a treasure chest when I remember being at a friend's house. It was my friend Johnny, and I remember seeing him. Talking to him about Nintendo, and I was like, "Oh, have you played Nintendo?" And he's like, "Yeah, But he's like, "But have you played Legend of Zelda?" And I said, "What's that?" And he showed me, and my eyes just like bulged out of my head that you could explore or go anywhere in the game. Let's see. The Monsters Below, Ramirez Productions. The Monsters Below, the article looks like an alien from Aliens. Yes, they do. These do not look like Octoroks that spit the rocks. They look like aliens. And I think the artist that was doing this was heavily inspired by that and said, yeah, sure. They're alien weird creatures. And, I think they took a little liberties here with the actual character design. But, So let's move over to the side. The Prez says, and the name of the game is fun, and he talks about all the good words that have been pouring in about the newsletter, and just what to expect in this new newsletter. Let's talk about what we see on this page. Now, I was never really a big sports game guy. That was more my brother's thing. But I never played volleyball. I never played pro wrestling. I never played slalom. Slalom. And so, anybody in the chat, did you guys ever play any of these games? And were they any good?
Before you move on, I just have to shout out that on the previous page under what Prez says, coming soon, Metroid.
What?
Yeah.
Coming soon, Metroid and Kid Icarus. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Yeah, Metroid. Metroid was a game that I played for hours and hours and hours, and that game freaked me out. There was an eeriness about that game that I had experienced with
music, too.
Yeah, the music and just the repetition, and it was like a maze where, you're basically trying to figure out how to navigate through this maze of just endless rooms and secrets and whatnot. Brand new games I've never heard of before. Metroid Super Gaming Secrets, when? That's a good question. There is a new Metroid game coming out. Sammy Nation, there's a new Metroid game coming out, so I think we might do an episode or two of Super Gaming Secrets for Metroid. It's not as popular. That's the thing. It's like I'd love to do more games, but my wife and I have discussed this. Basically, Mario is the king. And it seems that every time I put out a Mario Super Gaming Secret, it performs pretty well. But every time I put out a different game, it doesn't perform as well. And so, I would love for every episode to perform well. But, at the same time, Mario just continues to prove to be the more, the one that people want to see the most. So I think for right now, we're doing mostly Mario Super Gaming Secrets, and then, maybe every 3 or 4 Mario ones, we'll do another game. So, I just put out the Zelda one, and it's doing okay. It's not doing as well as the Mario ones, but I think people seem to like it, but it's just not as popular. So, and we're a business. We're once you're monetized, you're technically a business. And so we want the channel to do well. We want the channel to grow. And the only way to do that is to put out videos that have a good, reception. Jess, you agree?
I do, but I'm also really excited for some of the Super Gaming Secrets that are going to be coming out eventually for some very special titles that are not Mario related. But
me too.
Just have to stay tuned for that.
Yeah, and
I mean, they're so good. But
I try to gauge audience, the tastes of the audience by putting out polls. And if you guys really, really want to see different things, please vote on those polls, because I do look at those, and
Doog uses those for everything. So.
Yeah, I take your opinion to heart, and I want to create stuff that you guys want to watch. I'm not.
Yeah, like Ramirez just said, I like your Zelda video. I wish more people would watch it. So do we. I mean,
Thank you.
It was so good. I mean, it's so true.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing about Mario, is that Mario's universal. I mean, everybody knows who Mario is. In fact, they did a test recently. They held up a picture of Mickey Mouse. They held a picture of Mario, and more kids knew who Mario was than Mickey Mouse. And I cannot say the same about if it was showing a picture of Zelda or Link or Ganon, and people knowing who that was over Mickey Mouse. I just don't think that's going to happen.
I am really excited for the new game, though.
Oh yeah, I pre-ordered it. We're playing it. I think you and I are going to play it together, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So we're going to figure that game out. Yeah. So I want to do more games, and I think I'm going to try to do mostly Mario for now, and then some other games on the side as it comes along. And yes, I will cover Metroid eventually. I love Metroid. I love the whole series. I think I've played every mainstream Metroid game, including Other M, which is notoriously hated by everybody. But I actually liked Other M. I thought it was a great game. I think that one was on Wii. But it was a good game. I liked it. So let's move on. All right.
So Duke, time check. We're already in for about it's almost 2:30. So we gotta focus on, I guess, this.
Yeah, let's focus on the magazine. So let's just, unless you guys desperately want me to talk about these games, which I haven't played, then let's skip that and let's go over to Pro's Corner. Just look at some quick tips. Super Mario Brothers Encyclopedia, how to win at Super Mario Strategy. I will give you lots of helpful secrets. Continue to play. Oh, here we go. This is that tip that I was talking about earlier, where it says to continue the game in the same world, hold down the A button and press start after game over. So this was a super gaming secret that people found out. A lot of them found out with this particular thing, with this particular newsletter. But I think people figured out before then because they were trying all types of ways to hack the game. More fireworks. I don't really care about fireworks in the game. Did you care about fireworks?
Oh, I didn't mind them, but I skipped ahead already, and I'm so excited for one of these tips. I had no idea that they were talking about it this early on.
What's that?
Minus World.
Where?
It's second column, bottom tip, Minus World. I had no idea they were talking about this in 87.
Wow. Okay, so it says Minus World. So far, we have only been able to get to the Minus World 1, but we know of Minus Worlds 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and 4 from our buddies in Japan. Have you found them? Try this with Super or Fiery Mario. Stand at the top of the horizontal green pipe near the end of World 1, 2. Break the 2. Okay, so it talks about the secret, how to get to the Minus World, which is funny that they would include that in this official Nintendo newsletter because you'd think that that is an official game hack. That is not intended.
I am shocked.
Yeah, that is not intended to be in the game, or that is not intended to be an official secret of the game because it is a bug. So they're actually highlighting a bug of the game, which is hilarious to me. That's a really good eye, my love. That's awesome.
So it's not like a bug if you call it out, right? It's like, oh, if you get it out there before anyone else, then it's intentional.
They were trying to make it official, like it's an official secret.
It's Nintendo official.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing though, is that Nintendo would never design a level that goes on forever, and then you just die when the timer runs out. They would never do that. So I don't think there's any way possible they could validate it being official, because that's what happens when you enter the Minus World. You can't win. There's no way to win. So, the move through the wall. And yep. So it doesn't tell you at the end of this particular blurb right here that there's no way to win it. So I think they're just saying, hey, people have figured this out. Let's bring attention to it because, we want to have our official take on it. I don't know. I don't think that, Nintendo headquarters.
That's so Hollywood of them.
It is. Yes. Ramirez Productions. Did you know Mario's last name is also Mario? The last name thing also applies to Luigi as well. That's an interesting point, Ramirez Productions. But I have to say there is conflicting, voices about that. I saw a like a news documentary where there was an official Nintendo employee that was asked that question and says, is their last name Mario? And he said, no, Mario doesn't have a last name. So that person, and I'm sorry, I don't remember which news broadcast it was, but it was something that was broadcast back in the 80s. He said that Mario did not have a last name. And then in the movie, I guess in the 1980s Mario movie, I think it came out in 89, their last names were Mario. And then now officially, I don't know if it's, Mario and Luigi Mario, or just Mario and Luigi or whatever. So I think that the debate is still raging and people haven't really decided. So, see, you guys are arguing about it. Yeah, we know that. It's Mario and Luigi Mario. Did you know? All right. Quick, what's Nintendo's hot new innovation, the NES Advantage? I had one of these controllers. And it was not an advantage. It was not. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, Nintendo. It was not. It was their attempt to make an arcade style joystick, and for certain games, like fighting games, great. For games like Legend of Zelda or Super Mario Brothers, no, not so great. The D-pad that you have with your thumb and your fingers trumped everything. So I would have to say,
I just feel like you couldn't move as fast as you needed to with this.
absolutely not. I mean, for a game like Street Fighter 2, which was way later in the timeline, this would have been great. But for like a fighting game where you're fighting against one other player and you need to do quick kind of like combination moves, then maybe. But not for a game like Super Mario Brothers, and not for a game like Legend of Zelda or Metroid or anything like that. But I did have it, and I did use it briefly. I did like the turbo buttons, though. Do you remember that game, Track and Field? I think we talked about it, where you had the gamepad that you put on the floor, and you stomp on it with your feet.
Or with your knees and your
yes,
hands.
the power pad, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a power pad. It was like a mat that you put on the floor, and there's a game called Track and Field, and you just have to run on the mat as quickly as you can. You stomp your legs as quickly as you can, and then you plug that into your Nintendo, and then that's how you play the game. And if you didn't have one of those things, you would use the controller, and you would just click the buttons as quickly as you possibly can. And I remember Jess telling me, you guys didn't do it the conventional way. What did you use?
True.
Your knees.
Yeah, we were on our knees and our hands trying to
And you were just slapping it with your
because it just
hands.
was so it wasn't very sensitive. You really had to like get aggressive with it to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You really did. You have to pound really, really hard on those things, and you probably end up breaking it by doing that anyway. 300 kids turned garbage into robots. Wow. On April 17th, kids from all over the King Country, Washington, gathered in the Seattle Center, home of Seattle's World Fair, to prove a point about recycling. And a winner takes home an NES. Oh, that's very sweet. So they learned all about recycling and building robots. Catherine won a Nintendo Entertainment System featuring Rob the Robot. This is one robot that won't ever need to be recycled. The irony is it probably was recycled when she threw it away. Eventually. Hold on. Let me...
this is really exciting. I don't know if I can't see the live. Okay, you can see it. So on the bottom right where they're talking about Metroid, I was wondering, sorry for any spoilers, if they were going to use pronouns.
Pronouns? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like Kid Icarus, it's like
yes.
He can fly and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
I don't notice any pronouns in Metroid.
Because
I was just wondering if we'd see any spoilers or not there.
What's funny is that's a great point, because at the time when Metroid was introduced, it was assumed that Samus, the lead character that you're playing, was male.
Right.
But we found out later that that Samus was female. And
looking back, it's obvious that they were trying to keep that under wraps. Here, I mean, it's like the only game where it doesn't, you don't see any mention of gender.
Absolutely. And the thing is, in the instruction manual, I'm pretty sure they said he, and they messed up in the instruction manual.
Sammy Nation just said the same thing.
Oh, in the instructions. Yep, Sammy Nation. So they couldn't get their story straight even back then. And it took, I think, a couple games for them to realize, or for everybody to get on the same page. And that's the thing, is like a lot of the people that were writing copy for these games and doing artwork, I don't think took the games as seriously as the creators. And so it was a little sloppy in the beginning. Now,
well, Mega Man is a perfect example of that.
Oh, yeah, the box art. Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
Oh, I just wanted to mention it. I should have had an image to pull up, but I mean, it's like they don't even talk to each other about I don't know what happened there.
The box art is brutally awful. It's in the box art, he doesn't have a hand cannon. He has an actual gun, and he looks like overweight, which nothing wrong with that, but it's not Mega Man. And he looks like, his face looks all like misshapen, and it looks very weird. So that's the original box art for the first Mega Man. I wish I had a copy of it. But yeah, it's bad. And if you guys have access to your web browsers, look up Mega Man box art, the original Mega Man box art, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't want to pull up the internet because I might pull up something that will infringe copyright, so I don't want to. I don't want to do that. So no live web surfing right now. But Kid Icarus is another game that I played religiously. Get it? And it was fun, but it was as frustrating as any game I'd ever played. As the most frustrating game as I'd ever played. It was so hard, and it was brutally hard, and it wasn't rewarding enough, so I never finished it because it was kind of like an enigma. Like you had to have a strategy guide to figure out what the heck was going on. So I had fun with it, and it was kind of a cool kind of side-scrolling shooting game, but I don't know. Ultimately, I decided that I was over it, and I think I played through the first few levels and just gave up. But it was kind of cool. Killzone says looks like a male cop. Okay, yeah, kind of, yeah. Ramirez, I played Kid Icarus, but it was hard for me. Mall cop. Oh, okay. Yeah, who is it? Blart? Paul? What is it? Paul Blart, Mall Cop, kind of does look like Paul Blart. I played Kid Icarus, but it was hard for me, so I stuck to Kid Icarus Uprising on 3 Days Gaming. I heard that game was actually pretty good. I think they corrected a lot of things about the franchise. They said, let's make a fun Kid Icarus game, one that people don't want to throw out a window, because the original one was so frustrating. All right, let's move on. Nintendo Entertainment System 1987 licensing program. This was the seal that I was talking about, where you needed a seal in order to for Nintendo to recognize your game as official Nintendo game. And as I said, Tengen was one of those companies that got around that, and they did not have a seal. But these are all third-party games that Nintendo recognized as being legit. And, upcoming games like Gradius and Track and Field, what we were talking about earlier, Russian Attack, which I think I played that once. Castlevania Classic. Castlevania, wow. Double Dribble, played that game a lot. A lot of these games. Psycho Soldier, I don't even know what that is. Ikari Warriors, great game. A lot of fun. Rygar, one of the most frustrating games I ever played. That was like a side-scrolling game where you would just continue on, and it was so challenging, and I would die a gazillion times, and I just didn't want to play anymore. Speaking of, sweetie, have you ever played Ghosts and Goblins? Jess?
I haven't played it, but did you pull it up recently to show me? I feel like you showed me like a little gameplay of it recently.
It is hands down. And I think I put a poll out of this recently, about this recently. It is the hardest game of all time, quite possibly, because you only get 2 hits. So basically you start the game with armor. You get hit once, the armor flies off, and now you're exposed like you're just some naked guy running around in like a loincloth. And then you get hit again and you turn into skeleton, you're dead. So 2 hits. And I don't think that you can get your armor back. I could be wrong, but I don't think you can get your armor back. Maybe you can. But the game is so brutally hard that when you finish the game, you actually have not finished the game. It says you have to complete the game 2 times. And I remember I think I got to the end, and it told me that, and I was like, F this game. And I like threw the controller against the wall, and I was done. I was done with it.
Yeah, but the second time you got to play as Zelda, right?
Exactly. Yes. Zelda is not in that game. She's in the third Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins, right. The Legend of Zelda. Ghosts and Goblins, Zelda's Return.
Oh, Ramirez Productions already called out Ho 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 Video in the bottom corner of the page.
Where?
Dude, that's right up your alley there.
Okay, Ho 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 Video. Hold on, I get my sound effects ready. Ho 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 Video. What's Mario's favorite food? Turtle and mushroom soup.
Did you do your sound effect?
I did, yes. The audience really liked that one. Apparently. Hold on. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Great joke, guys. Great joke. Ho, ho, ho video. Okay. The life in the last fast video lane. You wonder what... Do you ever wonder just what the president of your Nintendo Fun Club does during the working day? Well, here's a brief glimpse of the video wizard extraordinaire, also known as product analysis manager of Nintendo of America, Howard the Rockstar. He made a rock video while attending a video game conference in New Orleans, which was a hit. Wow, this is interesting. I don't know if kids were actually interested in what Howard Phillips was actually doing when he wasn't playing video games. I think they just cared about video games, but that's cool. A little, tidbits about his life. Call if you beat Ganon. Out of the more than 30 Nintendo games, never has such an evil character been shrouded in so much mystery. The first and only player in the U.S. to beat him is our fearless leader and fun club president, the amazing Howard Phillips. Wow. Who will be the second? Call this number if you beat Ganon. That's pretty awesome.
Fun fact, Howard also wrote all of these articles, so he wanted to just interject himself into that.
Absolutely. Hold on a second. There you go. I gave you a laugh, sweetie. All right. Next. There he is again. There's Howard Phillips.
I know,
Coolest
I'm with
guy ever.
GDT. The cringe is through the roof in this stream right now. Holy cow.
Hold on a second. There, I'll give you a nice
Hey,
little...
Doog, it's been really fun.
thumbs
And thanks for letting me crash your live stream today. And thanks for letting me hang out with y'all. I got to go take care of the fam and play some video games with our 10-month-old Bobby.
Okay. All right. I'll let you go. And thank you, sweetie, for joining. And
if anybody wants
hopefully
to meditate with me, go to my channel.
go to Jessica's
It's the
channel.
opposite of fun. It's for sleeping.
Oh, no, it's lots of fun. If you meditate, then you'll have more fun in your life. That's not true. It's Jessica Kinni. It's at Jessica Kinni. It's JESSICA KINNI. Go to her channel, subscribe, meditate. If you meditate, you'll be better at video games. Bottom line. So thank you, Jess, for joining us. All right. So I'm going to finish up because we're running out of time, but we got a nice mailbag here. Fun club stuff and things. You can mail in for a t-shirt and whatnot. Let's see. How to line up a local fun club. Here's a little instruction manual on how to gather your friends and have contests, throw a video party, share equipment and game packs, trade tips and secrets. Man, lots of cool stuff. Let's see. I wonder if anybody actually read this and was inspired to do any of these things. Probably not. But yeah, it's cool that they were trying to get people together to celebrate video gaming. So mailbag. It always is crazy to me when I read things that people wrote into Nintendo in the past. Because it's like a time capsule, I recently received your deluxe system as a gift and quite pleased to enjoy playing with Rob and the Zapper, and I love your lineup of games. Are you planning to license games to other manufacturers for use in the NES? We have a long list of the hottest titles from our other manufacturers carrying our quality seal of approval. You'll find the whole list on page 6. So yeah, do I think that fans actually wrote these letters? I don't know. I don't think that if it was a fan, it wasn't a kid, because a kid wouldn't understand what licensing is and what manufacturing is unless they're like super, super nerdy into that kind of stuff. Now it's different. The internet has educated educated your average kid way, way more than we could ever imagine. So kids understand all those things now. Mamma Mia. It starts with Papa Pia. Huh. Thanks, Dusty Rusty. All right. Yeah, if you guys see a phone number in here, you should probably call it and see if it still works. Call this number and you can find out how to line up at a local fun club. All right, next page. This is the last page. The Super Mario Brothers crossword puzzle. All right, maybe we can just answer a couple of these questions. Initials of a hot game. Well, I imagine it's SMB or MB, Mario Brothers, MB right here. Mario stomps away the enemy or kicks away the enemy. Number 3. Let's see, 1, STOMP. No, I think that would be something else. Well, it says a stomp stops him, but not for long. Well, this would be a Koopa, because a Koopa gets back up out of his shell, or gets back up in his shell. Fire, flower, I imagine. A magic, Anybody know what this one is? Number 10, a magic, I don't know. Initials of the fair one. I have no idea what that means. Magic mushroom. Very good. Magic mushroom. Okay. Even though I think it's called a super mushroom, but maybe back then, because they weren't too familiar with the actual official terminology, they called it a magic mushroom, which kind of sounds like a different type of mushroom, if you know what I'm saying. Hammer Brothers throw and then blank retreat. R-E-T, so it's R-E 13. Yep, R-E. Mario lives to save the princess. At the end of the quest, N blank of peace returns. At the end of the quest, N blank of peace returns. So I think I don't know. What the princess says to Bowser. F off, I don't know. They sparkle and make you invincible. The superstars, or magic stars. Initials of a faraway kingdom. That would be the toadstool, or was it Mushroom Kingdom? MK. Power. I don't know. See, a lot of these we would add to solve this otherwise, but unfortunately we don't have time, guys. We don't have time. So the good news is this. If you guys want to solve this puzzle, then you can find this particular scan or this issue on the Internet Archive, which is where I found it, which is basically available to anybody. So just go on the Internet Archive. I think it's internetarchive.org, and search for Nintendo Fun Club News Issue 2, and you can solve this crossword puzzle for yourselves. So we're not going to do that today, but what we will do is wrap up, because we've had a blast and it's been an hour. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I mean, this has been a lot of fun. So let me just read the last few comments before we sign up. Let's see. Mario's shoes and shirt are gray. Yeah, I know. They only had like 2 colors when they were publishing the first few issues. If there's no princess, then what's his purpose? Wow, that's deep. What is Mario's purpose if there's no princess? I don't know. I guess it'll be kind of like if he jumps over the flagpole. He'll just be going forever and ever and ever and ever. Speaking of, there may be a Super Gaming Secret coming up in the future about jumping over the flagpole and what really happens if you jump over the flagpole. Because in many ways, what you've seen before, they're all hacks. So there is an official way to jump over the flagpole, and there is an official, official thing that happens if you're able to pull it off in a legit way. So maybe I'll make a Super Gaming Secret about that in the future. But my next Super Gaming Secret, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek, is going to be a speed run of level 1, 2, of World 1, 2, and so look forward to that. It's gonna take me a little while to make the video, but GTP or GDT suicide? That's dark, man. Mario is too happy of a guy to even think about that. Mario, he would just be like, "Oh, the princess doesn't need to be saved. Well, maybe I'll just go eat some pasta or something like that." I don't know. He's Italian. He likes pasta. I'm sure he likes all types of delicious Italian food. So maybe he'll just hang out with his brother Luigi, and they'll go exploring the Mushroom Kingdom and have some fun times. But anyway, back to Super Gaming Secrets. Look out for the next episode to be a speed run of level 1 of World 1-2. Very excited about it. It's pretty awesome, a pretty awesome trick. So be prepared for that. So thank you again, guys, for signing in and joining me. This has been a lot of fun. And next live stream, we will probably cover the third and the fourth issues, or maybe I think they're starting to grow. So I think we might just do the third issue next live stream. And again, please write in the comments what you thought about this. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.